Hey guys, welcome back to new video, and in this video I'm going to show you how to take latitude and longitude from the user device. So let's get started. So first thing first, go in our build.gdl module app level file, and these are some dependencies. So if you don't find these dependencies, what you do, you check my description. I will have my GitHub repository link over there. Go there and copy these dependencies, paste on your project, sync your project, and you are ready to go. So after doing this, go in our activity underscore main.xml, and I'm using a linear layout. Orientation is vertical, and two text view and a button. So the first text view ID is latitude, second one is longitude, and the third one is button. So this button is a ID for our button. Alright, so now go in our android manifest.xml and in here I am taking three permissions. So the first permission is for internet, second one is for access course location, third one is for access find location. All right, so if you are do these things, then go in our main activity, and now we are going to perform the main part. So first what I will do, I will give a chance to our user in order to activate its location. So for that I'm creating function is location enabled. So what it will do, it will check if our location is enabled or not. So first here I'm going to create a location manager. So location manager use our application context dot get system service. We have various kind of services, for example notification service, download service. Just like that we have one more service, location service. So use our context dot location service and typecast this thing into a location manager. All right, so now add a return statement. Location manager is provider enabled, so we have to check two kind of providers. So the first one is GPS provider and the second one is network provider. So we have our location manager variables for that. So first is our GPS provider and the second is for location manager dot is provider enabled, and use our location manager dot network provider. All right, so our function is going to be return boolean. Now it is fine. I'm going to create one more function on GPS. So the first function which is going to be triggered in our whole code base, which is on GPS. So in here I'm using this is location enabled. So if it is not enabled, then we have to perform some kind of things, and if it is enabled, then we have to perform some kind of things. So if it is not enabled, then what we are going to do, we simply start activity using implicit intent. We are going to open the access action location source setting. So it will basically open a setting screen, and if it is already enabled, then we are going to fetch the location. So fetch the location, and this is a new function which we are going to create. So yes, this one is a function, and in here we are going to first check build dot version dot sdk int. So it will return the device sdk int, and if it is greater than or equal to build version code oreo. So if it is greater than that, we have to take a runtime permission. So for that we have activity compat check self permission, pass our context and the permission. So android android, what the heck, android manifest permission, and we have access find location. So this is our permission, and the third one is our I think if this is not equal to the package manager access granted, permission granted. So if this thing is not basically if the permission is not granted by our user, then we are going to make a request. So activity compat request permission, pass our activity in here, and second is our array of permission. So use array of, and the permission name is android manifest permission access find location, and the third one is our request code. So use 200. You can use whatever you want, but I use 200. All right, so that's it, and after that return from this function. and if it is enabled, so if it is enabled, so we are going to request the location. This is a new function which we are going to create. So in request location we are going to create variable naming request, I think my spelling is wrong, request location, and we have location request, and we have some properties in request location, so such that property, interval, expiration time, and many more. So you can check if you are going to use this thing. So first I am using this property priority, sorry, not property. So location request dot, and you can see we have various kind of constant available in here. So I'm using priority high accuracy, and after that we are going to use fused location fuse client location provider. So we are going to make a member variable fused location provider client, you can see over here. So after that in the on create I am going to initialize this thing. So we have location services, and you can see first one get fused location provider client, pass our context which is this, and now I'm going to use that fused location provider client in here, and you can see the first suggestion is request location update. So in here we are going to pass our location request which we had created over there, and a callback which we will be create, and the looper. So use looper dot my looper. So it will give me a warning because we are not taking permission, but we actually do in our flow. So we are going to overcome this thing by using suppress lint and pass here the missing permission, and you can see the error is gone. The main error is present in the callback, so we are going to create that callback on the top. So val callback, and it is an object. So we have location callback in here, control I to implement the member, but it will not implement. So what you will do is simply type on, and here we have two override function, on location availability and on location result, which is our main method going over here. So what I will simply rename this thing as a result, and what I will do, I will take the result from there. So well last location result dot last location, and make sure to add the question mark over here because sometimes it may be null. And after that I am creating a member variable for my data binding stuff. So let init var binding, and the binding name is activity main binding. Actually we are not using binding, sorry, we are not using data binding in here. So in the last location find view by id text view r dot id dot longitude, we have to access the text property for setting the text, and we are going to setting the longitude for our text view. So longitude, use last location, and here we have latitude, we have longitude, and convert this into toString. So make sure it is not null, and everything is fine. Now duplicate this by pressing Ctrl D. Instead of longitude use latitude in here, and change this thing to so latitude last location latitude toString, and everything is fine. In our on create we are going to handle the set on create listener for our button. So button r dot id dot button, and I'm using set on click listener for that, and simply call the request location, so it will automatically request for the location. and we are going to use this function before that. So our application runs for the first time, then this thing is called, and location is not enabled, then it will open the settings activity, and if it is enabled, then it will simply fetch the location. And fetching the location means it will also ask to the user for runtime permission, and if it is giving that permission, it will simply go in here, request location, and finally make the request location for our location, and it will use that callback. So this callback is going to be handle the result. All right, so I think you got the flow how this application is working. I'm using only this priority in my previous code, but you have to use this 3 too. So the first one is request location dot interval, and make this thing 0. I use 0. Request location dot fastest interval, make this thing also 0 because I am choosing 0. You choose whatever you want, but I choose 0. And the number of updates is 1. All right, so you have to add this 3 line of code in your request location body. Now I will simply run this application on my physical device. So we will run this thing.